Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everyone, welcome back. This is oh God, Afterglow Live Recap Podcast. I will someday learn how to control this thing. My name is Syya, Yasotornrat.
And I'm Erin, Gregor.
And we are the Dallas co-chairs of Global Leaders Organization. And we're also the co-founders of Innovation Media Enterprises. So what the heck is Afterglow? Well, what we're doing is we just basically take the weekly speaker series that's hosted by Global Leaders Organization, and we chat about it with our members. It's a quick little 30-minute chat, and hopefully you guys can get some takeaways. And if you're interested or if you like the bullet points, please check out withglow.com, and you can actually see the actual speaker series without our color commentary, or maybe we might make it even funnier or better. What do you think about that, Erin?
Sometimes we can. I don't know. Everybody's been pretty good. There's been a few dry ones, but overall, very good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So welcome back, Rashmi. You're a bit of a veteran here. And quite frankly, it's because I love chatting with you. So Rashmi, you are CEO of Affinity Technology Solutions. Talk to me, sister. How is business at Affinity, and anything new that's going on?
No, it's very good. And again, I thank you for including me, Syya and Erin, today. Coming on the heels of Nina Vaca's talk, it's really exciting because Affinity Technology Solutions is also a women-owned business, and we're very, very proud of it. We bring to our clients, resources and services that they need, and these are large Fortune 100 companies. And I'm partnered with my brother. So, there's just a lot that we're going to be able to talk about today. So thank you again for including me.
Oh, always love having you. Always love having you. So guys, this week, I'm a huge advocate. Erin, you and I know this. We're huge advocates of women in leadership. This week we had Nina Vaca, a legend here in Dallas, Texas. Nina is the chairman and founder of Pinnacle Group. And they are the largest Latina-owned, women-owned organization in technology. I believe they do staffing, recruitment, etc., and project-based management. So let's just jump right into Nina Vaca, man. She is dynamic.
Yeah, she was awesome. I honestly, I've heard so much about her. I've seen her, and I mean, when you talk about women in business, it's her face in Dallas, especially. And I'm drawing quickly. This was the first time I've ever heard her speak, and definitely she did not disappoint. Really, really enjoyed her talk.
Yeah, she seems so relaxed. I think it has to do with the fact that her and Michelle are friends too, which I think sometimes you don't get that feeling in a lot of these fireside chats. Sometimes they keep it very, tight and professional. And I kind of felt Nina was relaxed a little bit more. I felt like her guard was a little bit down. Rashmi, you actually have been around Nina before and have seen her before. Am I just making it up in my head?
No, it was a lovely chat. It was very authentic, and I love the dynamic between the two of them. And yes, as I mentioned, at Affinity, we're also a women-owned business. And so I have been around her from that perspective, and also some of the other things that she was talking about. So it's women leaders are going strong, and I love the fact that GLO the Global Leaders Organization are highlighting women and women in business, because we talked about a little bit about change and how things are going to be different. I personally think things are going to be better as we kind of go through this time, and we're going to see an emergence of women leadership because of what Nina talked about yesterday and what we're going to be talking about today. So I think there's just a lot ahead of us that is exciting, positive, and go women, go lead.
I think I'm always a firm believer in leadership where it stands. If you've got the skills and you can rally troops, I don't care what you are, or look like, but it is really nice to see women really take charge and have that level of prominence. Erin, I mean, Nina, here's the thing: is the questions that were asked were not the typical questions that you and I talked about this with our own podcast on innovation calling with our Women Tech Leadership series.
Well, they didn't. I didn't get to the private room, so I can't speak 100%. I had somebody in the studio, but she didn't ask the balance question necessarily. It was about inspiration. It was about, her big break, which I thought was an interesting question, because we really don't ask men when their big break was, but it's not a woman or a man thing. Everybody gets a break at some point. There's always that one type of transaction or person who believed in you or whatever it is. So that's not necessarily a female only question. But they definitely were. What's the word? I don't want to say this word, but I'm going to say this word. I felt it was a little fluffier than usual. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually we're getting deep. I'm getting notes of, okay, this is what I do for my business. And I felt it was a higher level. Let's put it that way. And I don't know if it was because Nina was female or just bringing a different perspective to it. It wasn't bad by any means.
Interesting, because from the get-go, I was taking a lot of notes, and so she did ask. So Michelle did ask about, okay, let's look at the Pinnacle journey. It's a 24-year-old organization, and I just loved when she said that Nina said she knows how it feels to not make payroll and the pressure to know that there's families dependent on your business decisions and the organization and where it goes, especially during hard times. She had mentioned, 9/11, the recessions, obviously with this pandemic. And I loved her bullet points. I think I wrote down 5 or so. So I don't know if you guys got, 3 or 4, and I think she had 5 or so. One I really liked, though, was being sober to reality. And I put that in like bold, sober to reality, because I like the fact that she said you have to be really true and realistic about what is happening, and to absorb it and be transparent to the data that's being presented in front of you. How important it sounds like to me now is she's saying, okay, in times of these types of unplanned changes, how important is data for business? Rashmi, how about for you? How have you leveraged data to run Affinity with your brother?
Well, data is always important, because data helps you understand what, if you're looking at what's happening in the marketplace. But data also gives you a little bit of a rear view that can help you going forward. So data is very, very important. But I think the other thing that I got out of, that comment, be sober to reality, is that there are other factors, so data alone can't be your guiding force, but there are other factors that you have to take into consideration. And, case in point, what we're going through, and have been going through for the last, 8-9 months, or, at least 8 months for sure, they give us very different data points or different sense of reality. And I really loved, how she tied it to, where could we go? What is the future going to look like? What are the learnings that they've had, and how have they adjusted both internally and also with their partners, which is their customers, and how are they going to continue to do that? And so I really felt that for me, it was more than just the data statement. It's the comprehensive view of everything going on. I don't know, Erin, I see you nodding, and I don't know if you agree with.
Well, and I think, I 100% agree with you, Rashmi, because data is only as good. Like right now, you can kind of see what's happening, but like with the pandemic, you get the real-time data, but you were talking about the rear view mirror. We don't really know. We have no historic data on what's happening. So I think it is too, like, as much as you want to put on your rose-colored glasses as an entrepreneur, you do have to, and you don't want to be negative. Like, I loved what she said too about just having that optimism, that eternal optimism about something that's going to happen. And it's not coming in and being like, wah, wah, our company's going to fail, guys. But there is something to say, okay, the economies, businesses are shutting down. The economy has changed. How is this affecting us? And what do we need to do? And just being very realistic about it. Again, it's not negative, but it's realistic.
Yeah, and I agree. And it wasn't so much Nina, but some of the past speakers, and sorry, Syya, I didn't mean to cut you off, it's really the time where we need to listen and really pay attention to what our partners, be it our clients or our partners, are telling us, because I think that is, to me, a bigger data point than just looking at numbers. But that's just my view. Please go ahead.
No, I love it. I was actually just about to type up to the crew here. I want to give a shout out to Dan LeBrod, Stan, Mike Weiner, Dennis Sims. Thanks for joining us this morning, you guys. And by all means, please continue chatting with us. I love it when you guys do make your points out. So here, this is actually feeds into the next bullet point that I had down, was try not to react, but respond. And I had to think about that for a second, because I was like, wait a second, is that the same thing? Isn't reacting something a response? So I didn't quite understand what she meant by that. So someone clarify that one for me.
So reacting is, I look at, knee-jerk reaction. What's your first reaction? That's not necessarily the right thing to say or the right thing to do. You may take offense to something and react to it immediately, where maybe just taking that step back, a response is completely something different. So I took it as, instead of just going like immediately reacting, taking that moment, taking that breath. Maybe it's more than just a breath, but whatever that is, it's how am I going to respond to this text message versus react to it. Versus,
I see.
And processing what you're saying versus jerk. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, that gives me a little bit more clarity.
I don't know, Rashmi, did you think it differently?
Yes, and I was just actually looking for a quote from Rumi on this, and that is that sometimes you just really need to take a deep breath. And this is not only in the professional world, but it's it's truly in every aspect of our life. We all have our triggers, and whatever those triggers are creates that response. And in many 9 out of 10 times, it's always that same response. So it's, how do you change that, and how do you respond after having given it some thought? There's that saying, think before you say anything. Well, that's a lot easier said than done, but sometimes just taking a deep breath and stepping back and really looking at the situation, and just, sometimes, most times, I try to put myself in the position of how would I like to receive information to whatever response needs to be made. So I put myself in the shoe of the person that's going to be receiving it. And really, let me tell you, it changes how I respond in that email, or, the type of communication, and yada, yada, yada. So that's
awesome.
Yeah, going off on a tangent, it's very interesting. It was this morning's lesson that I was reading. I'm reading A Course in Miracles, and I'm totally going to butcher this, and I wish I had my book in front of me, but it was about just no one can ever really hurt you or offend you, but you show your true injuries by the way you react to people. So if they actually say hello and they get under your skin, that's your problem, not theirs. And it's a true spotlight on all of your issues by the way you react to someone. Again, totally butcher the paraphrasing of that, but you get the gist.
I love it, Erin.
Yeah. But I love that. And it's so true. Gosh, you guys are you're laying this out in such a way that for someone like me, I'm an extrovert, and I lead off my guts oftentimes, more often than not. And sometimes that's not necessarily the best response, because I'm reacting. You guys are making me I'm getting all these light bulbs coming up right now. So damn, it's just another action item on my list of things I need to work on in my personal career development. So I just became completely transparent for you guys, and that was bullet point number 3. It is communicating in a way that is honest and authentic. And quite frankly, for her, she said her challenge is she's got 10 countries that she operates in. How do you communicate clearly across the board in a way that everyone is on the same page? So how, on a scale of 1 to 10, you guys, honestly, what do you think your communication skills are? Don't jump in all at once.
Well, I guess it just depends. Rashmi, go ahead.
You mean you talking about my communication skills?
I think so.
Okay. So, you know, I can't remember, one of the previous speakers talked about the importance of regular communication, regular connection, having regular meetings, and I think that is very important. I think it's important not only in the professional world, but also in the personal world. You know, I've got multiple, I call myself a multipreneur, and I've got multiple businesses, you know, and my family. And so there are different things that happen throughout one's day and one's life, so to speak. I loved one of the things that I learned from the speaker, and again, you know, I wish I had made a note of who it was. And he talked about, you know, whenever you're starting a meeting, and I'm not necessarily talking about a meeting with my family, but even, you know, any time we get together, be it with my family or my professional self, it's, you know, celebrating what's fantastic that's happened. You know, and what I've learned, because I do that. I've done it even before I learned from him. But what I learned from him was the consistency of doing it. You know, just making sure it's in the agenda, no matter what. And I'll tell you one thing, ladies, it absolutely changes the dynamic of the rest of the meeting. It puts people in a glow-like stage, you know, a happy stage to have celebrated, even if it is just, you know, something small. But I'm sorry, Syya, I don't know if that's really where you wanted it to go, but you know, I'm trying to create that as being part of my transparency and my authentic self, you know, is to do the things that I love to do. And for me, it's always starting with a celebration, you know, so cheers.
Oh, I am so envious right now. I was like, oh, that looks so tasty. We're just going to have to just do it in person in studio next time, Erin, so we can actually toast together.
Let's do it.
So, Erin, what about you? It's from like whether personally or professionally, and from a communication perspective and being transparent.
I feel I'm pretty transparent. Communication, I try to be more communicative, and just try. I like to have, my communication style is get stuff out in the open. I love to just lay it all out on the table. And I know sometimes it's not the best for other people, but I'm like, let's just, it's how I look at the friends I've had the longest. It's like, we've had like bumpy, but it's like, just get it out, right? Like, get it out. What's your problem? What's my problem? Let's talk it out, because 10 times out of 10, what you're perceiving something and what they're perceiving something are two totally different things. And it's just so important just to get it out, just get it out. So that's my style. I know sometimes it's too confrontational for people. So, but, and I love your part, Rashmi, because in business and in life, I feel like my mind is a constant to-do list. And instead of, I need to practice more just giving it to Alexa versus because I'm always like, oh, we need to do this, and then we need to do this, and then we need to do, and it's just how my brain, I say it as I think it. And I need to stop that, because I just feel like it stresses me out, and it stresses those around me, because I'm just like, I'm not trying to stress anybody out. And I'm not saying it needs to be done right now, but I'm just getting it out of my head, which is not the best way. So,
you know, it's funny is that because of the way like our brains are like taking in the data and working through that, right, and parsing it through, whether you want it, you articulate it verbally, like you say, Erin, where it's in your head, you just need to say it and verbalize it in order to get it out. I see Dennis, and I love your comment on this is, okay, he feels his is an 8 on a communication because he's a proactive listener and he processes the information before responding. And then he adds, I like to be very specific with the words I use. And Dennis, you and I need to hang out more often because I would love to know your tips and tricks for that, because I have, for the lack of a better term, a vomit mouth. If it's in my head, it just shoots out, and sometimes I don't even know what's coming out of my mouth. So I love the intentionality of thinking before speaking. I think it just makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
So on that note then, okay, if we are wanting to better improve ourselves in our communication, have be more authentic, understand how we're responding to the stimulus around us, the other thing that has kept her business, at least in her, to stand out and continue being successful is this unwavering commitment to the future. So I love this because I don't think about this very often. Is she in her time of need, when she said, I don't think we can meet payroll, she literally had to verbalize and say to herself, better days are going to come. Today might not be, stellar, but there's always the sun. Do we do this enough, you guys, as business leaders, to remind ourselves and our team that maybe we're having a low right now, but it's always going to get better? Do we do this?
Can I just make a quick statement on that? You both know that I'm part of Boise Collection, and one of the things I love about Jean Charles, the wine world has received many knocks in life this in 2020, including the pandemic and the recent fires, which we're hoping are coming to bed right now. And he has always kept a positive outlook, and the positive outlook is that we are going to come out better than where we have been and where we are now. So I do think saying that, verbalizing that, Erin, I don't know if that's part of the daily magic that you're manifesting, but if it's not, it should be, because yes, we can't control the past. We can barely control the moment we are in now, but how can we make going forward that much better? And I think it's really erring on that side of positive, that good things are here and good things are going to continue to come.
Yeah, and I think it's a practice that has to be done. I think it comes with age too, right? Like if you go through a recession, right? You know it's going to come back, right? And hopefully you look at it from a different perspective. Like when everything, in 2008, everything crashed. I sat and said, God, I wish I had a lot of cash right now, right? Like just to take advantage of the opportunities. So I feel like I've been a little bit Chicken Little, but this has been a weird couple of years. But it's like, okay, well, how can I prepare myself not to get scared of a recession? Or even when things started crashing, it was, okay, I'm not going to feel scared because I know from an optimistic standpoint, everything's going to come back, right? It always does. But how can I prepare the company? How can I prepare my life, myself to, I hate to say take advantage of this, but get through this and get through it, from a vantage standpoint. So this is my third recession now I've been in, and I think age helps you feel more optimistic through it, but it is, to your point, Rashmi, it is a constant practice, because I know my head can easily spin to the darker places and oh my God, this is overwhelming and this is so hard. And, I talk a lot about where my brain was in 2017. It was very, very, very dark, and it's hard once you let that spin happen to get out. So I think it is something, even just every day before it gets south, to, okay, it's, it's going to be okay. But again, I feel like I've been around the block enough that that becomes easier.
Yeah.
That's I love that. I love that. So Erin, you're feeding right to the next bullet point that I had was think about adapting and transforming. Depend on change, meaning expected it's always going to happen. So she was pretty brutally honest. She said, look, things are not going to go back to the way it once was. knowing that is her baseline of always embracing and accepting and adapting to change, do you think that when you are anticipating change, you will then put yourself in a mindset to respond to it better?
Well, I mean, the great companies that think they're invincible die, right? Excuse me. So I think you do have to be always, again, it's a line though. You don't want to be like, oh my God, it's going to change, but kind of being able to look at things a step ahead and looking for the future. Who was it? Somebody gave us an example. The founder of Red Bull was talking about something in a meeting and talked about, or the CEO, and was saying like their biggest downfall, like they had to prepare for self-driving cars because people weren't going to stop at a gas station because they're tired, right? So they were thinking about the future from a perspective of how is this going to affect our company and how can we stay a step ahead of it? And I think to not do that, you're naive and not, you're not going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. So on that note, then, okay, if you're not going to survive, it means you're not retaining your customers, and there's clearly a drop in that link between that connection between yourself and your client. She actually made a point to you guys I thought was interesting, is that she kept saying, do more than what is asked of you, which I think intuitively we all want to do that. I think it's harder said than done from a business perspective, from a customer service perspective. But she also said she doesn't even call her customers, they're partners. And she goes and she emphasized the value-based partnership approach.
Mm-hmm.
I believe and I understand what she's saying, and it's a partnership for, to work together in collaboration. But do you really think that's clients want to be said as it's a partnership, or do you think that it's full of crap? I mean, I'm sorry, when I heard it, I think it's great, but in practice, and if I were a client, do we really believe that it's a partnership?
It's so fun. I had a conversation with a client this week who said that he's sending me a book because he looks at this as a partnership and he's got another project, and before ever Nina saying, I believe it's very true. Like, you're in this together. Like, it's not, I'm serving you. You are in this together. And the more they succeed, the more you succeed, and vice versa. So I don't look at it as crap at all. I loved it when she said that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, in life, you have partners in every aspect of it. And looking at working with your clients, understanding what their goals are. And, we talked, you mentioned briefly the change. I live my life from the philosophy that be the change you wish to see in the world. And that's by Mahatma Gandhi. And, I think it's very prudent on us as change is happening to be in touch with the people that are important, and if they're your partners / clients, be in touch with them, see how the change is impacting them. And then, how can you be flexible enough? Because with change, there's a driving need for flexibility and to be able to go with the change. And Erin, to the point that you made earlier, and that does come with age, because we've all been through many changes in our lives that have been positive and some that have needed work on, and Syya, one point that I did want to make before we end, and I know we're coming short on time, is that one of the things I loved about what she said, and that was being in partnership or working with her family. I work with my brother, and, it is the most amazing experience. His strengths and my strengths complement each other. Our, how we look at things, we come at things so differently. It really is a great perspective. And, and I think working with family members, there's a different element of immediate trust that if we give it a lot of positive support, it can really help you be very successful. So I love being in business with my brother, and not only in in professionally, but also because it flows over to our personal family life. So, but I did want to make that comment that there's a lot to be said to be in business with family.
So my gut reaction is like almost torture to go into business with family. But I mean, I think you're right though. If you're mindful and it's intentional and you're transparent with one another and you're, realistic to the expectations, I could absolutely see if you're marching to the same drum and you got the same goal in life, for the business, it could be beyond harmony, right? It's harmony, right? It's not just a melody, it's a harmony. And so we're running up on time, and I can't believe how time flies by so quickly. Dennis, I love the comments. He actually recommended a book to you guys before we sign off here. He said, check out a book called Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty to break the habit of being yourself.
Yes. And I'm doing a 21-day meditation right now. It's fabulous.
Yes. Is there any parting thoughts, any things that we should be aware of? What's new with Affinity Technology Solutions?
No, I mean, we're just moving through these times and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Awesome. Erin, any parting thoughts before we go?
Yeah, I'm going to apologize. I saw on my backboard. I didn't erase this. My kids made a list of dogs who died and dogs who are still alive. So if you're seeing that, I very much apologize. I didn't erase it before I hit record. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I left that up there. So we are not that morbid here. I'm sorry. I don't know why they made that list, but they did. So anyway, GLO, with GLO, as Syya mentioned at the beginning of the call, we are the co-chairs. Make sure you head over to withglo.com. You can we'd love to have you be part of the Dallas chapter. Every week we get these exclusive opportunities with the speakers, and then slowly, as life doesn't go back to normal, but life turns up, we'll be meeting in person again. So head over to withglo.com. It is minimal for the year, and we'd love to have you be part of Dallas.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, so what's going on next week? We got two major things going on next week. So one of which is we're doing the Dallas group here partnered up with our Toronto counterparts and Mexico City counterpart, and we're actually hosting a USMCA What's New panel. So we have representatives from Canada, United States, and Mexico, one of which was actually one of the negotiators of the latest United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, call it NAFTA 2.0. So if your business is global, want to be global, or your clients and partners are global, or there's just ramifications of this agreement, you want to attend. For GLO full and premium members, it's free. For those that are not, it's $37, or just join with GLO.com, right? And be a full or premium member. And like I said, you'll get a lot of content like this for free. On Thursday, which we will do another recap of, is with the former Netflix chief people officer. Her name is Patty McCord. She joins us next week. So guys, check it out at withglo.com. You'll see the event series. You'll see how to be a member. You'll see the values and benefits of what commerce, capital, and community really means. So on that note, everyone have a safe, wonderful weekend. And that wraps it up for another episode of Afterglow Live Recap Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Love the conversation. Bye, everyone. And I'm going to get it eventually. Oh, my gosh.